begin this August meeting of the school board. I'm filling in for James. He's gone, so it might be scary. Mr. Jennings, would you lead us in the pledge?
Absolutely. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I get a motion to approve the agenda. So
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Presentations and recognitions. I don't think we have any at this time. Correspondence, Dr. Copeland? Any? No. Okay, we'll move on to resignations and hirings. No resignations at this time. Hirings, Dr. Copeland.
We're recommending offering the 21-22 August listing for the activity extra duty contracts that are ready to fill, and that list was attached.
So we just need to vote on that.
Yes.
Can I get a motion on the extra duty activity contracts?
Madam Chair, I move that we offer the 21-22 August listing for the activity extra duty contracts. Second.
Is there any discussion? Okay, can I guess we'll vote on that. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Okay, motion passes. Moving on to administrative reports, Dr. Copeland for superintendent.
All right, well, my report is attached, but let me go down through just to make a couple of comments about the items. The preliminary enrollment by campus, just a couple of things that I wanted to point out. Current numbers are a total of 594, so we're up a little bit from the end of last year for enrollment purposes. We have 2 campuses that right now have the same number as we finished the year with. That is Elk Mountain with 5 and HES or Hannah Elementary with 59. Now, granted, this is a week before they show up, so we could have, of course, the students not show up or new ones come in between now and then. So, not final numbers by any means, just to kind of give you an idea though. Encampment is at 118, down from 123 at the end of May. HEM is 84, down from 88 at the end of last school year. Medicine Bow is at 13, up 3 from 10 at the end of the school year. Saratoga Elementary is at 201. They finished the year with 183 last May. Saratoga Middle High School is at 114. They finished the year at 110. So kind of gives you an idea of where the numbers are, at least as of today. And I'll put the A and B on there just to talk a little bit about Saratoga Elementary. We continue to be a little crowded in that building, and we thought we would have the extra room from the computer lab that would solve our issues. It really turns out it's not totally solved it. So we're making some room changes. Mr. Jennings can correct me if I misspeak. But 5th grade will be split. 6th grade, we do have a long-term sub who's a certified teacher. She will help split out some of the 6th grade. Mrs. Long will teach the core subjects to all groups. And then Brianna Walker, who will be the long-term sub, will take the others and cover history, social studies, and then also help tutor. I'm not sure what the term is. Anyway, work with math and reading under the direction of Mrs. Long with the group that's not in Mrs. Long's class. So, and I just kind of suggested in my last board briefs that we might want to, again, at the maybe just a temporary workshop, put a topic on there, you know, what is maybe long-term plans. You know, there's plans we can do. We can look at a portable, or we can move the 6th grade up to Saratoga Middle High. So we just need to visit with that so we're not continuously seeming to have this issue. So that's just why I put Saratoga Elementary on there. ELL enrollment is another kind of unexpected thing. We've had, in the last couple of days, we've had 4 new non-English speaking elementary students enroll at Saratoga Elementary. We had probably about 5 come over from last year. total in the district. But this year we have, so that we have the 4 additional elementary, and then we have, how many additional in high school? About four right now. With the with the suggestion from the guardian of the ones that checked into the high school that she may have up to 20 total, counting elementary and high school. So I'm not sure what kind of program, that this is, but obviously that's kind of a shock to our system since we're used to not having pretty much a minimal ELL situation. So we think we have found a translator that will work as a para. Luckily, Tyra Relaford is ELL certified at the high school, and they've freed up a period for her that can help work with these students. We're struggling a little bit with ages and absolutely no academic record, so we're trying to figure out grade-wise kind of how to place them and what their academic level is. We may be scrambling around for some Spanish placement tests or tests that are in Spanish. So we're going to make something work, but I just thought you might want a heads up on that situation, which is a little bit new for us. I think the most we've ever had district-wide was probably about 3 or 4 years ago. We had a total of 12. That's when we had a couple up north. The rest, I think, were in Saratoga. We might have had 1 or 2 at Encampment. I can't remember. But apparently the majority will be at Saratoga. There's possibility of 1 at Encampment that we know of. None right now up north that we know of. So I will keep you posted on that. So we are coming around to get a program in place with all of the forms, paperwork, and all the requirements that go with that. So stay tuned on that. The COVID plan, I'm just going to delay talking about that because that's an action item on down about guidelines, opening plans that we will talk in detail more when we get to that item. I just don't want to repeat myself. But we do have a plan. It's pretty much the one that I put out on the website and sent out to the board, just in guideline format. And so we'll talk a little more about that later. Item 3 is just a proposed change. This is a board regulation, so I can basically suggest that we're going to make this change, and if there's not a problem with it, then we will do that. JFCA BR is the regulation. It has to do with bus routes, and it is kind of timely because this is also the meeting that we do approve the bus routes, which is in consent. But basically, we have this regulation. There's an item 2. Well, let me back up a little bit. We had a request from Cow Creek residents to run a bus, just loop that through there, because we have had in the past maybe 1 or maybe 2, where we're up to 8 eligible riders in that subdivision. So that roadway is technically, though, not maintained by a public entity because it has an HOA that maintains that. So I'm proposing or planning to just add the wording to item 2. It has presently roadway must be owned and maintained by a public entity. Wanting to add exemptions may be approved by the superintendent on a case-by-case basis. Shannon, who is the new head driver down in Encampment, Shannon Fagan Craig, did contact the HOA president. They're happy to have the bus come in there, so we did check with them since it's technically, not a public road. So that's what I'm proposing, and then I can approve that and we can move forward. And then we'll just take anything in the future on a case-by-case basis as far as routes go. Any questions on that or comments before?
Are they going to maintain that road then for the bus?
That's what
That
they
would be
are.
my
And the
biggest
thing is, what we will do is, pending, of course, we having access. I mean, we're not going to go in there if it's not maintained. So, and there are times when the weather is bad enough that we don't even use some county roads. We just meet at the highway, or the kids have to stay home until the roads are cleared. So be the same thing.
Okay.
So then let's see. The other item on here is just a reminder of the fall roundup meeting. That will be Tuesday, August 14th, 5 to 7 at Berkeley High School. So we'll send out a little thing if we haven't already. See who wants to go and maybe carpool or whatever for the ones that are available.
It can't be August 14th.
24th, I'm sorry.
Okay,
Did I say the wrong date?
I was like.
24. Yeah, we've already missed it. No,
that's
that's
a Friday,
The 24th is a Tuesday.
Tuesday.
so we'll get an email out here in the next day or so, figure out who would like to go to that. We've had fairly good attendance. We usually have 4 or 5 board members that are able or more to go to that. That's that meeting, you know, of all of the board members are invited and superintendents from the southeast region of WSBA, of which is made up of Laramie County, Albany County, and Hardin County. So we'll get that out and let you figure out our pooling and so on. And that's my report.
Thank you, Dr. Copeland. We have no principal reports at this time, or special education reports, so that takes us down to curriculum report, Mr. May.
Yeah, sure. Students, members of the board, I can't talk now, you remember. So my report is attached as usual. So in terms of curriculum, just typical purchases I've made to help supplement start of the school year. I think especially with SES, we've had increased numbers and just had to buy extra things to make sure we've got all those skills covered. The science PLC I thought I just mentioned, they're experimenting with a new method to teach the chemistry curriculum. It's called model-based inquiry. Best way to really try to sum it up as easy as possible is that you have kids build something, they test it, if it fails, they try to figure out what went wrong. So really trying to put more focus on the kids investigating that themselves rather than just teachers stepping in and instructing them how to make improvements. So they're excited about that. It's going to be an ongoing process. But there's a lot of research out there that they've pointed me to that says that this could really help just with student achievement. So I'm excited to see them innovate with something new there. District assessment system updates, nothing at this time. With the assessments, we do have our state testing calendar for the year, including YTOP, M-Class, all that testing to just prepare us for what's coming. We're still waiting on the YTOP system to actually open up and start entering in account information and things like that. But looking forward to getting that done so we can start preparing for this year's YTOP testing, which includes the fall interim, which will be towards mid-September, I think. So it'll come a lot quicker than we're expecting as usual. Other work, the new teacher or school staff really training that we had last week, I think went very, very well from the feedback I've seen. We did expand the week to 5 days instead of the typical 4, just because every year it feels like we're just putting a little bit more onto the new teachers' plates, which you want to come into those trainings and see the look on their faces as we explain everything to them. It's pretty tough. I hate saying it all at the end of the day. It's like come back and just clear mind and ready for more. So the 5-day expansion I think went fairly well. We were able to send them home early a couple of days and kind of cut it off and say we'll pick this up next day, and then that'll just help them not feel so overwhelmed as they go into the next few weeks. So happy about that. I specifically named off all the individuals that helped the training and just read them all out loud. Michelle McLean, Annette Marchetti, Drew Leach, Steve Priest, Laura Nicewinder, Janice Peterson, Valerie Regali, Corey Lyseth, and then myself. We're all part of that training. So I appreciate every single one of them that helped out with that. As usual, I think we did a very good job, and we'll show and we'll keep these school teachers in the district for as long as we possibly can. We're also currently undergoing our first week back with all staff, started today. I think it went okay. We'll see what feedback goes with, but we really try to focus more on getting the teachers, all staff, as much time in the classrooms as possible this year. They're always asking for it. It's not always easy to get them to, but this year we were able to do that, so happy about that. Today we specifically had just kind of a celebration. We brought everyone together again, which is nice after 2 years of not being able to do that. We went off and celebrated a lot of achievements in turn, including some YTOP results, some teachers that really just knocked it out of the park with their students in YTOP testing. We named the teacher of the year and staff member of the year for this year, as well as last year, and all nominees in between the last 2 years, just to give especially people last year a little bit more of
district-wide recognition than what we did last year, which was basically just announced on the webpage and let schools individually talk about that because of the, the issues of the pandemic. But just to reiterate, our staff member of the year this year was Becky Priesel, and our teacher of the year was Crystal Clark. So we give them their awards. Just a good time to have that. The upcoming trainings we're going to have, or I should say, we did some anti-vaping and drug use prevention today. We did some classroom management training today with Lisa Harold from WEA, Miami Educators Association. She was willing to come and talk to our teachers about some things and also try to encourage them to join WEA. And following that, we send them home. But for the rest of the week, we've got some Power Teacher Pro training. So we had to upgrade our teacher grade book because the old version we've been using, we haven't updated in a while. And they're basically saying we're not going to update this for you anymore, the people who run the program. So we've had to update that to the latest version. Hopefully, there's not many differences there, and the teachers will benefit from having the newer version of the program. We've got some audio enhancement systems training. So those are those new camera systems that we're putting in all the classrooms to let teachers record lessons and things like that. It'll replace the old PA systems. I think Dr. Copeland, I wasn't here for last month's meeting. I think Dr. Copeland might have mentioned we're a little bit behind schedule with the installation of those projects, but we're still going ahead with some training to get them ready. We've got some CPI training coming up. Tammy Schwartz, do you remember her from 2 years ago? We consulted with her to help focus a little bit more on some interventions for language arts for elementary students. We are going to be contracting with her again this year to really try to help close maybe some of the gaps that we've identified from the pandemic, from how our testing went with lights out. And Rachel Johnson is going to be working with that, which again is being paid for completely by the ESSA 2 grant, which was specifically designated to help with closing learning gaps. So excited to work with her. We've got some SPED staff training, and beyond that, it's just preparing for any PD for the staff, the PLC schedule list that we've got, and then working with Tammy Schwartz and Rachel Johnson.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, moving on to audiences. Do we have anyone in the audience that would like to comment at this time? No? I don't want to cut you off, going once, going twice. Okay. We have no unfinished business at this time. New business, we'll move on to the CCSD #2 fall 2021 COVID planning guidelines. Dr. Copeland.
All right, as I mentioned, I'll just kind of go down through this. We're hoping to start the year as normal, much more normal year, and we're hoping to be able to stay with a normal functioning of life in carbon 2. But these are just guidelines that I wanted the board to approve. We never know. WDE is kind of going back and forth. They're not requiring any official adopted plan, but this way we will have approved at least our guidelines and so on. And I think I said it last meeting. I met with Carbon County Public Health, had input from them. We do have a new county health officer, which is different who's different from last year. But anyway, they seem to be much, there's no mask mandate. That actually technically, I guess, came from the governor last year. But no mask mandate, certainly optional if staff or parents want to send their kids with a mask, no big deal. We will continue to use spacing cohorts as much as possible. We're a little limited, especially with some of the sizes of our classes, but as much as practical, we'll try to continue to do that. And of course, hand washing and cleaning, we're going to continue to do that. Item 4, we request this follow the current federal regulation school bus transportation. To be quite honest, there's 2 different entities that have put out two opposite information. So CDC says that school buses are part of public transportation and masks, they require masks. We also have information from the public transportation department or whatever the name of the official that is from the Biden administration that specifically exempts school buses from that. So basically we have two different things. So we're just going to request they follow current federal regulations. There are exceptions if kids, for example, on trips, team trips and all, if they have water bottles or they're eating or whatever, they're exempted from it anyway. Most all kids are going to have that on those kinds of trips. So we're just going to space and do the best we can. And that's what we're going to do on our transportation. We currently don't have any mandates, as I said, under number 6. If we should receive a mandate, we will consider that at our meeting and discuss. These guidelines could change, but we would probably need to have a special board meeting and at least figure out where we are on some of that. Item 7, we just basically encourage getting the vaccine, but that's obviously a personal choice, and it's after consultation with your own doctor, getting advice, getting what everybody has the freedom to decide. They have told us that quarantines will be in a similar manner of last year. However, they're not inclined at this point to quarantine large groups like teams, like classrooms. They're going to try to be much more specific. Last year, they started very general, and then we kind of pushed back a little bit, and they kind of tried to narrow that a little bit. They seem much more willing to be flexible this year, at least from my meeting with talking with them. They've also said if you have immunization or vaccinated, you will not have to quarantine unless you're a positive. So if you have direct contact last year, you were within so many feet for more than 15 minutes, then they wanted you to quarantine. This year, if you have a vaccination, you will not have to, and we will just work with them on a case-by-case basis. I think we got pretty good with just kind of doing that tracing, trying to make sure that if quarantine was recommended, it was justified. In other words, 15 minutes closer than 3 feet is quite a bit of time, especially for team sports and things like that. You're just not in that much contact for that long usually. So we're trying to be very careful about how we word, how we do the contact tracing and so on. If the student has any actual symptoms, they'll be sent home. I mean, that's really like it is with any disease, any illnesses that we've done for years, even prior to COVID. So in other words, if a kid comes to the nurse's office with a temperature, then we send them home. If they have any major symptoms that are that obvious, just like with flu or pneumonia or anything else, then they won't be allowed, we'll send them home. I kind of delineated a little more about the contact tracing in item 9. And then the last item is just continue to help us parents by keeping the sick kids at home. We really did have a lot of great support last year on parents really trying to do that, and we just want that to continue. So whatever would spread, not just COVID, but anything else also helps us see kids stay at home. So very simple, very broad, just the guidelines that we plan, that's pretty much back to normal, really. Are we stressed a little bit when we get everything going? Yeah, stressed a little bit, see what happens when everybody comes back together. But we'll just go week to week, day to day, and be as flexible as we can. And I feel like that right now, the health department, the governor's office, WDE, everybody has really backed off of all of these mandates, and they're allowing school districts to make these decisions. So we'll hope that we continue with a great situation, that we won't have outbreaks that require us to look at anything different, and see how it goes. So I would like an approval of these guidelines just so it's official.
So Dr. Colvin, I just had a comment on number 7. Like, just me personally, I'm not sure that I would say as a board that I want to say that we're going to encourage people, like, it's whatever their choice is. And so, and until it's a mandate or whatever, I just don't feel like we want to open that up to ourselves.
Take number 7 out.
I would agree, only because we don't encourage people to get flu shots or chickenpox shots, And I know that everybody's dealing with it in their different lives, employers, and I just don't think as a policy board of elected officials, policy and budget board, we should really delve off into medicine. I mean, in my opinion, you could give that recommendation with, you know, information from the school nurses or the public health official, but we as an elected board, I don't think we can.
Well, that's why we said encourage, not recommend. But I get that. We can certainly take number 7 out. We do require, with of course exceptions for fleas and all of that, chickenpox, and measles, and many others.
Right.
But I realize this is a different situation. I get that. So I'm fine with, I mean, if that's what we want to do.
My only question to you, is this something that that WDE is encouraging that the schools have guidelines without a mandate, or is this just something we've decided?
Well, most districts in the state that I'm aware of are having some kind of simple guidelines to open the year with. That's kind of where this came from. But if you want to take 7 out, then whatever's in the motion or anything else you can change, just put that in the motion.
You think we should narrow down those federal guidelines on the buses?
Well, I purposely, here's my thinking, and Bill can advise us differently, I suppose. The reason I said federal is because there's basically some conflicting federal regulations. However, I don't want, what I'm trying to avoid is not putting the district in some kind of liability situation where we didn't even recommend we follow federal guidelines, however we interpret those. Because, you know, somebody gets sick and then they say, well, you didn't even follow, you know, you didn't attempt to do prevention, but that's kind of where that came from. But that's why we left it a little bit vague. We just said federal because there's conflicting federal guidelines really right now.
So you just pick the one you like.
We're going to interpret loosely.
I'm gonna guess how this is gonna shake out.
Yeah, well, it will be interesting. You know, there's so many political differences on various here and other parts of the country, everywhere. So I think everybody's tried to back off of any mandate because of the backlash from last year, really. So.
Any other questions?
Okay, Madam Chair, I move that we approve the guidelines for opening schools fall of 2020 with striking point number 7.
7 is we do encourage getting the vaccine.
Yes.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. We'll reflect that, Dana. Okay, can I get a motion on the consent agenda?
I mean, we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to financial information, treasurer's report. Sally?
Madam Chair, members of the board, your general fund balance at the end of July was $3,264,777.84. You see there in section 1, your revenue and expenditures for the month of July. In section 2, the major receipts being from the county treasurer for July income or June income in the month of July. In section 3, you see your investments at the various rates and maturities. We don't have anything maturing. It's all under, most generally under Wildstar, which is the best rate we can get at this time. Do you have any questions regarding your general fund report? Your second page of your report is your financial report of all your other funds, the grant fund. You see there we've added some of the 2022 grants at the time of the publishing of this report. IDEA 2022 had not yet been approved, but it will probably show up on your next report. You see there also your ESSER 2 money, which Dr. Copeland talked about, using that for recovery student recovery, educational recovery. And the other grants that we have. You see your comparison between July of 2020 and July of 2021 payroll account. Again, the increase is due to COVID. There were still some people not working during the summer last year, so we had a few, so we had a little bit higher payroll this year. You see your scholarship dollars. There were no new scholarships issued during the month of July. You see your balances in employee benefit, your major maintenance fund, your capital construction fund, your depreciation reserve fund, your lunch fund, the encampment activity, HANA activity, and Saratoga activity accounts. I will note under major maintenance, we did receive our first payment, which is the revenue year to date for major maintenance. We should get 4 payments about that amount, so it'll be about $800,000 for the year. Any questions regarding your other funds? Did you have any questions regarding your revenue and expenditure summary? It's very preliminary, so it's early, yeah.
Thank you, Sally.
Thank you.
Consideration of bills, Georgia.
Nick and I met with Sally and we didn't have a ton of questions, but we kind of talked about different bills and stuff like that. So with that, I move we approve the following bills. General fund, $120,393.23. Federal fund, $4,464.71. Major maintenance fund, $5,049.40. Hot lunch fund, $11,985.52. Encampment activity account, $3,568.10. HEM HS activity account, $372.75. Saratoga Schools activity account, $17,166.09, for a total of $162,999.80.
Is there a second?
Second. Sorry.
Got a motion and a second on the bill approval sheet. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Let me get this closed. Next. Okay. Items from the board. Review board governance, leadership policy, mission, vision, goals, and strategic plan. Anybody have anything on the mission and vision placard that we have sitting here?
If I may just make a comment, I think it's every 3 years we review these. I think we did that last year, if I'm not mistaken, so we can certainly revise at any time if there comes a reason or somebody brings something forward like through the AC or the board or something, but we do have a review system and framework in place, and that's every 3 years we formally review all these things. So I just thought I'd make that
Same
comment.
with the strategic plan.
You might take Linda Butler off there. Deb right there. So we probably need to get it up to.
Where is that on yours? I don't have that.
It's not.
She's
on
got
mine.
an
No,
old one.
you have an old one, Karen.
Oh, I'm sorry, Karen. I've got, like, I gave you an old one.
I'm like, where are you seeing those
I
things?
I've had this happen to me. Here it comes.
Dina, of all the people you've given.
That's a new one, so just throw that one away. Get rid of it. Okay. I'll keep this one. Okay, sorry about that.
Since we've done this fairly recently, does anyone have anything that saw typos, anything? It's a lot.
Isn't usually what is that? committee?
The DAC.
Yeah, they usually kind of go through that.
Yeah, and they did last year. Okay, moving on to board review of the policies, regulations, exhibits. We have none at this time. Region 5 BOCES update, Georgia.
I don't have much. I actually missed the meeting. I looked through the agenda and stuff, but I was just gonna put out there that they are doing another school in Cody. So I know that I saw on like the website that they're trying to hire some paraprofessionals for up there and stuff like that. So they're definitely expanding a lot this last couple of years. So.
It's Okay. Board member comments. Nick, you get to go first since you're the furthest away from me.
Not much. Congratulations to our folks. Was it Becky Creasel and Crystal Clark? Congratulations to them. I'm excited and looking forward to the school year. It's great anticipation. So, that's all.
Yeah, just welcome back staff, teachers, students next week. I'm sure they're all gonna be so excited to come back, as Nick was saying. Most of the kids I've talked to, they're like, no, we're not ready. But I'm like, once they get there, they're usually good, so. And thanks for all of the training and everything. My daughter's going through the new teacher training stuff, but she said the same thing, like, it's so much information, and until she like actually gets in there to do it, she feels like she doesn't really know what to do with it, so. But I appreciate you guys going to that effort, and I'm sure they'll really utilize that, so. Paul?
Kind of the same thing. Welcome back, everybody. With school starting back up, we need to remind ourselves about school buses in the 20-mile-per-hour zones that we've been blazing through all summer long. Those are back. It's good to see smiling faces over there again. It's always good to see you, Mr. Erickson. Congratulations to all the award winners. Thank you, Dr. Copeland, for getting ahead of this COVID thing, keeping us kind of update on that. Greatly appreciate it. All you.
I echo everybody else. Congratulations to the kids at County Fair and the kids. Good luck to the kids at State Fair. And I'm excited for a new year, kind of back to normal, hopefully, fingers crossed. So.
And I want to, it's hardly anything to add, but I did have the opportunity to visit Crystal Clark's class several years ago, and I was very impressed with her teaching skills and
I taught her everything she knows.
she told me that. Yeah, making great headway here. Anyway, and I'm looking forward to a great year, and I'm actually looking forward to the schools being open again. Yes, I'm ready for it.
I would pretty much echo what everyone says. I'm looking forward to getting back in the schools. It's fun to go walk through the halls and see all the kids' stuff and see all the high schoolers practicing or doing whatever band or drama or whatever they're doing. Drama, there's a lot of that. I'm looking forward to that and just meeting all the new faces that we have in the schools and just getting back to kind of a normal year. So.
Well, good luck to the staff starting this year. The COVID thing still has everybody kind of up in the air. I hope it goes smooth. I hope we don't have any issues this year. Just have a good year.
Okay. We don't have any executive session needed at this time. And so our next meeting will be Monday, September 20th at 4 p.m. at the Saratoga Elementary School. And it'll be in the lunchroom right here. And that same day will be a board work session meeting starting at 2 p.m. Same place. So if you care to show up, we'll be discussing several things that will be published here pretty soon. That's all I have. Adjourn this meeting. Thank you, everyone.